What is consciousness? The live stream of consciousness is on a quest to unravel the mysteries of existence. Every episode, we ask the fundamental question that has captivated human minds for centuries. Is consciousness merely a product of our brains, or does it connect us to something greater? Explore the very fabric of our thoughts. Don't miss a moment. Expand your awareness and tap into the boundless potential that resides within you. Welcome to the live stream of consciousness.
Hello, hello. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the live stream of consciousness. It is Thursday. It is December 21st. Oh my goodness, it's almost the end of the year. We made it through another one. It went so quick. I'm excited as hell. I'm vibrating in a really good way. I just had an amazing show with Grace Grella. And that was awesome. I see everybody out there. What's up, Helen? What's up, Tim? What's up, Ninja Kitty? Good to see you guys. I had a great show, and I'm gonna have another great show, and I'm excited about it. And of course, there she is, Grace Grella. We just had a great show, and she's there too. Yeah, I'm excited because this is my CRYST-MAS special. You get it? I'm excited because I have a guest returning who was really engaging. I really enjoyed talking to Brian Christopher Kutza, who I'm going to bring back in just a second. He is an expert in crystals and has so much to say, and I feel like I have this connection with crystals because for me, I feel like crystals are another level of a being's existence. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. If you watch the show, it probably does. But I feel like it's another life form. It's another form of energy, the way energy communicates. And if I'm not making any sense, hopefully Brian can help us make sense of all the things I'm saying and feeling, because those are the things I just feel inside and know. And Grace says crystal clear. We can always count on Grace for the beautiful puns. And Tim is saying Feliz Natal from Brazil. What's happening? And Brian, what's happening, Brian? Good to see you. Some old people hanging out as well. So anyway, without further ado, we got one more show left before the end of the year. Christmas is coming up next. I'll say happy holidays to you guys at the end of the show. But I'm here. I didn't take a day off. I'm going to do the show through the end of the year, and I'm here with Brian Christopher Kutza. I'm so excited. How you doing, my friend? Welcome back.
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me back. I really do appreciate that, actually.
Yeah, man, I had so much fun when you were here last time. I love talking to you, your energy. There's human beings that you meet that you could just energetically connect with, and it's cool because we're not even in the same room, you know what I mean? We can feel each other, you know what I mean? And I love that. That's great. And Powser's out there. What's up? Lori, what's up? Nice to see you there. Hello from beautiful Sedona. Sedona
Nice.
is beautiful.
Good to see you.
Yeah, Sedona. My folks live in Scottsdale, and whenever I go out there, I try to take a little trip to Sedona. It's beautiful over there. And oh man, some more people are coming in. Ketamine assisted coaching. What is happening? Welcome to the live stream. If you guys subscribe, I hate to do this, but if you do, I have a bell around here that I ring physically. It's not just like some, abstract bell. So, hit the bell. I ring a bell for you. So let me know if you subscribe, and I'll ring the bell. I'll find it and ring it. But Brian, I brought you back to the show because we didn't really even scratch the surface when we were talking about crystals and what they mean. We were talking about my thing, consciousness, and we were, but I don't think we really even scratched the surface. So I wanted to bring you back to do your thing and really be the ambassador that you are for anything crystalline.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we could say we're moving into Merry Christmas, right? Or crystalline, or maybe we're into Merry Crystalline, but we're basically putting ourselves in a cocoon to rebirth ourselves tonight with what we thought crystals were, which you mentioned were living beings. And that is a perfect way to actually kick off the adventure of allowing your imagination to rewrite the codes of what other people told you something was. And this involves really our empathetic feeling sense of our bodies to allow ourselves to transcend into absolute truth, which is through feeling in the heart, the gut. And yes, the mind is involved in that process, but must be submissive and have the higher orders of reception, not the one that's the non-imaginative projection device that we've been using. So I don't know if it was effective yet or not on this planet, but we've gotten this far together without killing ourselves along the way.
Right. Well, the cool thing is, I think that there are people who, explore these types of things. And that's what inspired me to even have a show like this and say, what is consciousness? You know what I mean? It's just like kind of studying things that are beyond the textbooks and beyond the physical. Those things are important. We wake up, we're physical beings. We have to exist in this physical world. That's one aspect of us. But being open to other aspects of us, is where we're at now. So thank you. So
Consciousness, when you asked that question last time, that's a whopper, right? Nobody in 5 seconds can go, that's it, I'm done. It's like we're all kind of tooling around with what that is. And even when we agree that it's going in the right direction to understand, it's still highly elusive what actual is occurring. Now, the beauty of Christology for me is that it transcends the physical and spiritual planes and is operating as an etheric scribe here. I would call it, it's a translator and messenger of cosmic orders that are higher than our understanding, projected through etheric or astral plane templates to our terrestrial realm called, let's just say, planetary and Earth. And they have been listening, abiding, changing, morphing, and building themselves in that vibrational tone. That's what they've received. Now, just like you and I went to school, or we're listening to ourselves talk on this communication device right here, you mentioned we're not together. And yet with this device, we're smashed side by side right now. And there's this funny thing that's happening out here. We don't see the actual performance that we're not only within, but what's right around us everywhere. And so I would like to start off the whole diagram of trying my best to even say, I'm still trying my best to explain that our limited conversation or words that we've been using have really scribed and literally excised, which means to cut out something and literally removed it from the language. And we've been talking in a way and really talking from the mind and not so much the heart. Even those that write the books on Christology and you go down that depth, I mean, you could hear a lot of mindfulness in the construct that they had to write to explain how you're feeling and accessing things that are really, really difficult to try to write about. And so there's really, in Christology, there's a lot of silence. And in the beauty of the science of Christology is a message that's innate and is truthful for us. So I'd like to start out with that crystals themselves are a living silicate family of a kingdom that's available on the earth, the same way we have the plants and the animals, in other sense. And in some forms, like say biology took the kingdoms, took it down, and then broke it down in further pieces and derived a whole web out of it. Now, in other applications, such as, let's just say back to minerals and crystals, we just didn't do that. We didn't call it a kingdom because it wasn't the living form of existence. And
not the way we understood.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah.
We
That's
immediately
brilliant. I love it.
Like thing, stuck it to the side and said, okay, here's this block and let's just start cutting it. And the way it got cut and divided is kind of, let's see if I could do this as best I can here too. We would like to say that a Christologist was a person who understood the physical, cosmological, geological, and what we call metaphysics is just the physical force that we can't fully understand. It's more of the intangible etheric realms. However, we take all these crystals and we look at them, we carry them with us and we make technology out of them. And we try to tell each other, yeah, you can just make tech and do all these cool things with wavelengths and light and cosmic fields. And now we're in quasi computers and all this other stuff. All involves mineralogy, which is Christology. So in a way, we're saying, yes, this is what we're using. And then we take it away at the same time. We try to show you the artifact of what we used, which is the tech itself. And we try to rip away what it was really built out of, because it's some things happened on this earth where certain subjects were, I don't want to say suppressed. They were, again, just ever so slightly just clipped out of the picture. It's
Right.
really elegant.
Yeah, yeah,
Actually.
absolutely. No, and I think that's what's happening is an awareness of that and a
Mhm.
curiosity, to kind of explore what that is, which is
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Um,
So watch, like a geologist is a person, a person who's adaptively looking at geological formation of mineralogy over a period of time, and that
right.
time is related to the Earth history.
Mhm,
If we jump outside of that, we say, hey, there's a cosmologist. And we're like, wait,
mhm,
what is that? That sounds great. Okay, what
mhm,
they're on the bound of the universal construct scale of time and
right.
existence. Now, the periodic table that the geologist is the same as the periodic table that the cosmologist has got too. So
Mhm,
there's these bridges that go across where you can only talk about the subjects that could fit into a box that fits into the paradigm of another box that has been carefully organized based on couple criteria. And in today's day, the periodic table has been rewritten and written and written again, and the things that are new that are appended to it aren't appended in a daily fashion. And there's a new way to look at the whole diagram too.
yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I don't want
So
to interrupt your flow, because Brian, this is beyond what I even expected. You're talking on such a really, no, seriously, you're talking on a level that I think is not so complex, to understand. I think it's really it's easy to understand, and in a way, I think it's kind of how it's very abstract for people to kind of understand the idea of consciousness, that even a rock has consciousness, right? That
yeah,
idea. And that's kind of what you're supporting, is like, well, there it is. It's like, the first thing you said about cutting things up into kingdoms, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, like
mhm,
people, just don't think about it that way. And that, I think
mhm,
that's brilliant the way you describe it, because it makes it
yeah,
pretty clear, crystal
yeah.
clear
We
as
need
a
to bring things back to the table and make them unified in the conversation, the direction we're approaching them, and the way we're communicating about them.
Yep.
Because what's happened is we have gemologist, mineralogist, geologist, and cosmologist. Those
Mhm.
all sound badass, but they're all looking at the same subject at a different scale, like kind
Right,
of dissecting the shit
right,
out of
right, right.
thing and losing the course of the actual action, which is, for one thing, what's the relationship to humans? I'll get that one right across the page right
Right,
here.
right,
We got
right.
a crystallographer who does it for industrial applications, which makes our technology and our wavelength of frequency generators and stuff.
Mhm,
However, dismissive, even though they're making it for humans, the humans dismissed in the conversation. Now, the human, that's you and I and everyone else is listening, is built out of liquid Christology. So the liquid mineralogy, salts, and compounds that are running around inside of our body and make up our body are actually those elements.
mhm,
And
mhm,
so in a way, this all has a huge wash. Like you just wash across the whole thing. It's got the same conversation, but there's a piece missing.
mhm,
The person who's talking about how that technology called Christology, mineralogy, deals with a cosmology that is what we are, and we skip over that conversation entirely because
mhm,
hey,
mhm.
you just don't want to connect two dots that seem really separate from each other on this planet, and all of a sudden go, hey, that's the same thing. Dink. And they're like, what? I just got rewired, just like instantaneously, because you're collapsing scales.
Right.
So crystals have the ability to bring us into a place where we're much greater than what we thought ourselves to be. And the way I do it is through water. And so water is a great communicator, which is also, in its own sense, built up of that periodic table again,
Mhm, mhm,
is an attunement that our body temple, your body is like
mhm,
76 or 78 maybe at best right now.
mhm,
And I'm maybe like 78 to 82 type zone water. We
mhm,
need that water to vibrate the consciousness of the Christology within us to the template of what's around us and abound us. Okay.
mhm, mhm,
So this whole thing is going to come down to this. I'm speaking to you about communication. If you don't understand the relationship in something, then how could you talk about it? If you don't understand your place in the relationship, how do
mhm,
you know where you stand to speak into something?
mhm, mhm,
You know, and so here it is. I'm inviting you at this moment. I'm going to keep it as simple as I can without doing generic Christology. I want to get you guys involved with some accelerated Christology that you may not have ever heard of or saw on the planet, but it's a massive accelerator for you to be not only in a higher sense of mind, but a channel that lets things come in while you're still being yourself. Okay, Michael, this is important, is thyself. And it's tempering through your heart, your higher heart, which has a bunch of neurons in it, which is its own mind in itself, flourishing in the gut bacteria flora, and everything talks together at the same time to have a different type of engagement that's here. Now, right now, doctors and pragmatics out there, people are just hacking their way into, I'm going to biohack my way into that system. And the Tibetan monks are like laughing, and so on our planet, we've got everything going on. I don't have to say anything else in between. That's a good polarization. This is the world that you and I reside in. And there's not good guidance in it, because if I get the guide of the Tibetan monk, it's a whole different process than the person like meeting me or the person who's biohacking.
That's right.
So what I like to do is not hack at anything. I actually like to get more calm and centered and quiet with breath, and allowing myself to be grounded in my body, so that when I have Christology around me or even within me, I'm listening to its communication that's authentically it. It's not me. It's not you. There's something else happening here around us in the earth, where we're really in these unbelievably free-form, given eternal systems. And so if I could open up the dialogue of Christology now, of communication, there's many ways to approach this, but one of the most authentic ones is to meet yourself. And so the game has to start with this: know thyself, but know the place that you reside is to know how your temple is communicating to and through you as you, but also something larger. And this all happens with the heart and the empathetic system, not the mind. It's the way you feel. Okay. So we're all a bunch of feelers, but didn't have a bunch of language to explain to each other how we're feeling. So we've been like suppressing, like when you are feeling what it is, you don't get too deep down the rabbit hole or anything, because some places that's weakness and other things about, projections out here. However, it's really running the show. So what if you could empathize not only with yourself, honor yourself with what you're actually innately feeling as it's being authentic, but also be paying attention to other living forms that are around you also communicating. Like, in other words, let's crack it open a little notch further about what does it mean to be listening, and what are you listening to? Because you got to be like a kid in this one. You kind of got to go back to the beginning before the adults smacked you in the head and told you stop it, or any of this other stuff, whether it's with words or hand or force, and stopped you from imagining that shit was talking to you. Although you were like, hey, I'm having a conversation with my imaginary friend, whatever that was that time. Most of us did these things on Earth. And, and these processes. So you must go back to the original key set that you were given, which is imagination codes and empathetic feeling through the heart, to allow your higher mind to open up to the paradigm that you're inside of something that is communicating through you. You're not doing it at all, which is the craziest part of it all in the end. But in order to get there, we must begin to feel. So I would like to start off with something that most people could relate to instantaneous in Christology, which is, I'm just going to pick this up. I hope this comes across. Left, right. These cameras are fun.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me actually do this.
Okay.
So that you are.
Hey, cool.
You got the stage.
Appreciate that.
So let me just, before you continue, and I just have to say, this is really amazing, Brian. When you started talking, I was like, ooh, I hope he's going to lead a meditation. I hope he's going to lead a meditation, right? And as you started talking, in preparation for that, I started breathing, and I started like relaxing, and I started listening to what you were saying. And you were leading a meditation right there. That whole thing you just did, for me, I don't know for anybody else out there, but I was breathing, I was listening to you, and that was a powerful meditation. So thank you. And I just wanted to acknowledge ketamine assisted coaching out there, saying you're brilliant at taking this and making it understandable. That's why I wanted you back. That's why I'm going to have you back again. I'm even planning in 2024. Grace Grill is out there saying energy, frequency, vibration.
Exactly.
And Kayla is out there saying, the one thing I try to say to my daughter not to say to my daughter, unless necessary, is that's not real.
Beautiful.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
and
Exactly.
Janice is out there too, the quad healer. What's up, love? Brian, amazing. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow. You're again
Oh, my
brilliant.
friend.
It's brilliant. So what do you got for us? Show us what you're starting
So,
with. It's simple.
so yeah, we're going to start with what we would call some items I'm going to put up here that really help you to get out of your head and more into heart, which I'm going to just explain as an empathetic form of communication. Okay, it's the same communication that I'm having with my words. I'm projecting vibrational tone into creation, and that's making things crystallize here. And in the same sense, in silence, I could do that there too. And I feel something totally different. And so there's this plane of existence is what is the play between the mind projecting the words and the tone into creation, and where is my imagination and my heart expanding to be the horizon expansive line for that creation to fall upon. And it's not hitting the earth. It's like my hands are expanding out to hold the creation when I'm in my heart. And I feel a lot. And so what I'd like to do is enter the heart through a corundum ruby that we love to have, that we all understand out here in the field who understand crystals. Often comes times with record keepers, which are triangles, and it's part of how she grows basically. So let's see if I can get that camera. There we go. And so we start off with a beautiful corundum ruby, which really is about a simplistic formation here. It's not complicated. Whatever those books say and everything, have fun, have a blast with it. But in the end, you're going to read those books till your eyes fall apart, and you're only going to remember about 20% of whatever it said anything in the end. So how do we embody this? Well, our body is generated this exact energetic form. The signature of this energetic conductor is very similar to what your heart actually conducts as well. So the reason we look at a ruby, it's veracity, it's our blood, it's our life force, it's vitality. And so not only does a ruby come with a lot of messaging through the heart that when you connect with rubies, you feel softer. It's the weirdest thing. Even if Michael, if you don't wear rings or anything, you can see, hey, I got to, whoop, that's the wrong arm. Oh, that's so scary. Oh boy. We're not even going to go into that conversation, man, but that's a good one. But basically, even myself, I place a conductive element shungite along with corundum ruby for bracelets that I can wear. Now, remember, I could choose almost anything possible out here, but I like to keep it simple. And that's because the simplicity of it is the beauty of it. When we get involved with our mind, it gets too complex and we lose the gesture of the moment. Okay. So corundum ruby is a great way for anyone to start out there, getting this around your person in bead, pocket, water. A lot of these things I'm going to show you, every single element that I'm going to show you tonight, you can put in water. Charge the consciousness of the water, because it's a living organism. It tells the other water around your area too, like your whole house and everything, about what you just did in your one glass or jar.
Oh, wow.
And you're going to bring that into your body. And we're going to get further into that, because actually in here, I don't want to spend my time completely just telling you about stuff. I want us to have an experience together that's visceral and goes and transcends things that it's not just about mind. Okay.
Awesome.
So hopefully we can do that. Corundum ruby, great way to start. Okay. Awesome. Now in the corundum sapphires, blue sapphires, great for the higher mind. And what I've noticed is in all this alchemical process, I've developed a lot of different formulas and techniques, but I've discovered that it's kind of funny, similar to endocannabinoid system with CBD versus THC, you need one piece of THC that everybody wants to run away from and grab all the benefits of the CBD, and the body goes, hey, I've got this whole system. You need pieces of both. In this, your heart, for it to expand to the highest levels, the mind must transcend its elevation too. And so the two work together. And people are always like, get rid of your mind. And you're like, hey, bro, slow down. Right. Basically, temper thy mind.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
So great way to do this is I'm going to hold up an element that anyone can get a hold of these elements. This is not far-fetched out of here until I get to one item that I can help out with. Here we have sugilite and richterite. Now, the beauty of sugilite is it is whether masculine or feminine, won't matter who grabs this, you will immediately enter the gateways of the highest mind consciousness, like a sapphire through the blues here on the richterite, and drop immediately into the heart space. Sugilite I don't have my rings on right now. I'm kind of stripped down, about to go to a cacao ceremony in 5 seconds in my house also. So this whole night is awesome, but this is what I choose to wear on my body at all times.
Wow.
Sugilite, because it's even more effective than rose quartz, kunzite, kyanite, all these things tempering these body structures like this. There's a few out here, and the color's fantastic.
Beautiful. Yeah. So let me ask you a question, and this may seem simple. Oh, you've got those. Yeah. I figured out what that was, by the way. You what was I going to say now? I forgot. Oh, so you're talking about how these crystals affect us. I'm imagining that it's actually a vibrational thing, that this is an energetic force that the crystal is surrounding the crystal, that is interacting with the energetic force that surrounds me or you or whoever's interacting.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of.
And in a sense, even though you're shielded up or have your mental body or projecting your own personal space and your belief about what that is, these crystals just go, "Hey, how you doing?" Just right in there. I mean,
Awesome. I love
get
it.
the
Oh, we
wrong.
got Ellen out there saying hello. Sorry, I didn't interrupt. She's reminding me I did make a banner and I forgot to put it up, which is
Oh, thanks, Al.
Brian Kutza out there. Boom. If you are digging what Brian is throwing out there, which I certainly am, there's his beautiful new website. You could go check it out. And again, sorry to interrupt you, my friend. So continue with what you were saying.
Hey, man, you don't have to apologize about anything. There's no interruptions here. It's just a conversation. Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And a lot of us out here are not so aware of sugilite or rictorite. And don't worry, at least fall in line, take some notes. But the sugilite, go after that realm. It will really help. Just like exactly, I'd love to have some sugilite. Yeah, I bet. And exactly, anyone who has it right there, boom, they understand how powerfully transcending that is in heart space without you getting too emotionally washed over. It's really a powerful element to get around you and meet most people. You know, in order for keep communication going, we have to open up some channels in the body. I'm going to bring out one of the simplest elements out here, which is basically a form of oxidized Fe3 plus, it's plus 3, I think it is, which is basically iron that's trapped inside the lattice work of a silicate, which we call quartz. And when this comes into tune and oxidizes and gets radiated, we see amethyst. And amethyst is an unbelievable amplifier of your upper spectral range of your energy of your body. I'm not going to get into the conversation about your assemblage points, your chakras. You might hear me say something every once in a while, but basically I'm just going to talk about your body, energy, and things that help to activate zones of energy, okay? Because if we keep that less distillated and crystallized and pinpointing what that is, we're going to be able to feel our way through this better. Okay. So this material, most people have around their person or on their body or something. And this is used a lot of times, we say, for better communication of the upper spectrums, like things, your ancestors, whatever you may say, communicating to and through you and giving you contact. So since, say, spiritual communicator, it's kind of funny. It's quartz, which is a silicate with iron inside of it that got radiated and it turned this purple color. We're not going to get into the subject, but it's really cool story to tell. This is a great element to have around you.
Yes. So that's reminding me of, and I don't know if this is related or not, and you're going to tell me. When I went to art school, I took ceramics, was one of the things I did, ceramic sculpture, and we actually made our own clay. Right. So there were different silicates and different powder forms that we would mix together to make the clay and fire it. And then there were some lessons that we did where we would actually add in like iron and see how it changes the firing process and what it does to the ceramics at the end. And how it changes is really interesting. That's exactly what that reminded me of, but on a more cosmic level of nature doing the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So nature's been in its own kindling, distillation, amalgamation, crucible, like burning things so there's nothing left, and then rebirthing those minerals again into other minerals. And then, we show up, let's just say here, and we're like, hey, what is all this stuff, right? And we're still figuring it out. That's the honesty of the whole thing. And in some level, no matter how far we cut these things down and understand what we think they're still trying to do their best to communicate to us what is their authentic purpose.
Right.
And we've kind of just gone past it. And so that's why I really loved Christology, tempering for years with others, learning through other masters on the planet, receiving a degree that later the person disappears, and what your degree from the school is gone, right? You're like, well, I'm still my person and the crystals are here. So let's keep the common.
Right. Well, I also love, and tell me what the significance of this is. I love this. Also made it easy for me to understand the way that you put it on a cosmological level, right? So crystals are the same as other things that we know about, but on a cosmological level. So to me, that means like almost like the crystals are here. They're in a different time frequency, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So
different wavelengths of understanding of what time is altogether.
Right. They're experiencing time in a completely different way than we are, and a much grander, more almost complete way, right? So like, in other words, like you said, they've been around forever, right? They've experienced existence in a much different way than we have, and
exactly,
it's just something I like to think about.
Yep. You go up to a tree and it's really old, and you just touch that tree, you're like, my God, what have you seen? I mean, you're burned to you're charred on the outside, inches in, you're still alive. Humans have come past and forward wars and everything, and the tree's still there. So even in a short timeline, we have these same examples of us, and we have elders on our planet, people that live 100+ years and have knowledge, and somehow we kind of miss the mark on seeing them appropriately for what they're really carrying and embodying, which is wisdom. And then that's innately what we're tapping into here. Let's just say that these crystals are immensely wise carriers of messages. You said wavelengths, light and luminosity, that changes our body's biology and then allows us to carry on a conversation then back outward differently.
Love it.
And so it's really important here. I'm going to do a grounding element, because everything I do is always about activating the heart, but also remembering and rekindling that connection to the earth. The earth is the birther of us and all this material. We are inseparable, but we must transcend our ideal of forgetting that connection. And so I'm going to bring an element called smoky.
Brian Akers is saying he needs a boulder of that stuff. I don't know if you can hook him up.
I love Brian. Yeah. So we were just all together in Sedona at a 5-day retreat, really dealing with the prosperity codes of like 2024 and setting up our tempo for that. And in it, there was many different age groups and modalities. We really had to become transparent with each other. Yeah. It was good stuff. So here we are, same material called the silicate, which is the living form of quartz, and this is called smoky quartz. And it's just beautiful, man. Look at these like beautiful colors. I do the best I can here. And the nice part about this is, again, we have quartz holding aluminum, and that aluminum is radiated. And
I'm going to be still here. I'm just going to make you full screen so you're bigger.
Okay. So hey, thanks. So the aluminum here is now cast into creation as the element that's bending the light in the refractory lattice work of this crystal, and then giving us this color range. So light penetrates, some moves through, some gets reflected back. But this is an element that conductively keeps you connected and grounded to the earth. And that's really important, because for you to feel is to be inseparable from the Schumann frequency, the resonance of the earth's pulse. And these guys are all pulsing at that same rate. They know the way. So we love smoky quartz, and we keep this around us at all times in all the formulas that I make, some element like this. And so this is really good to keep you connected to the earth. So you pen it in. Hey, Penny. And so another kind of quartz. I'm going to keep slamming this thing of quartz. Watch this. We're going to cover multiple forms of quartz, because most of us, that's the silicate basis of the entire family structure, that when I pick up quartz and I touch it, there is a compressive quality of my touch to this material that's stressing the lattice work of this, and innately this material responds back by giving energy to me.
Wow.
Just every single time you touch this material. Okay.
And that's
So
just regular quartz.
that's regular quartz, and all the silicate families are built this way, and we've
Wow.
used them to build our computers, to build our communication devices. That's why you put energy in and some function is performing and coming out, so like your screens and stuff. Now this is rose quartz. This is really nice Madagascar grade rose quartz, really gel-like. And the beauty of rose quartz is it's a grand harmonizer. What I like is things that are simple, take care of a lot of different subjects for me, but aren't trying to like smash it together, freaking grab me and shoot me someplace. Although that's fun and exciting, maybe when you're younger, and life's already that way. Let's get some things that calm this down here. Rose quartz is a grand temperer to all the other Christology that you could have around. You can have the highest vibrational things zip in your head, astral traveling. You need some grounding elements. This character is going to come and communicate between the two until the two meet each other in a metronome until boop, they're right here talking to this material specifically.
Wow, that's great.
Do not underestimate this material. It is everywhere on our planet, comes in different grades, just like the quartz itself, which comes in points and blocks. But get a bunch of this and start putting it around your doorways, around your home, wherever you can, and notice that yourself, your kids, your footfall, your conversations, everything will start tempering down.
Yeah, awesome.
Good stuff.
Cool.
All right, so we can say
Brian says he felt like a 9-volt battery on his on a tongue, like that kind of sensation.
And so from this place, we enter a domain now. We could say that we're connected. We've taken some elements we've seen over and over again, and I didn't show you the most common one, which is just quartz. I'll just hold this up for a second, but at the end, I'd like to come back to it.
Okay.
Quartz comes in many, many different varieties, different scales, different shapes. Now here we have a needle, basically, is what I would call this quartz. Is a Colombian quartz, very, very clear and articulate. And some people would say this is Lemurian quartz because of its, or a diamantina from Brazil. But again, it's Colombian. And this material is what we build. Every piece of technology we've ever conceived of on this planet to date is primarily starting with this when it comes to the electronic worlds. Okay, now notice in our electronic worlds, we don't have anything that looks this cool. I mean, I wish they would just like figure it out how this is actually the technology.
Make that a part of it, right? Yeah, that would be
Instead,
cool.
they go inside and rip it apart and grow it and cut this thing into pieces and melt it and turn it into stuff. And you're like, what was this birthed on the planet that had all that cosmological timeline communication that was desiring or was here as a tool to aid us, was trying to communicate and tell us? But we just skip over that. We smash and bash and keep going out here. So I'm in to keep the thing intact and have a great time with it, right?
Nice.
That's good. So I'll come back to this later because I'd like to talk about how we feel about quartz. Cool. The next mode is once we've opened up heart space and we need to transcend what the heart is and measure that's immeasurable. It gets bigger and bigger out here. We want to be able to set up antennas into this field. And this is where the conversation is going to shift just the tiniest bit. This is where belief systems are just chucked out. And so they're going to have to do the best you can.
Okay.
This is where I may say some words for some that mean something and for others not. But in the end, we're all feeling beings. And if we stay in that feeling sense about what's real, you'll feel it for you. And then what's really not for you. And then you can decide that's how you build your reality. That's reality for yourself.
So fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I'd like to bring one of my personal favorites to the table. And I'm even smiling just holding the damn thing. I can't help myself. I'm like a kid all the time. Seriously, I'm trying to control myself.
I love it. I love it, man. The energy is palpable.
This is damburite. And damburite comes in lots of different forms on our planet, but we're lucky in the United States. The biggest loads of all are sitting in Mexico, in different pockets in Mexico. And they're from old solutions of lake beds and underground aquifers and stuff, getting solutions together to grow these. And this is a very large damburite. They come much smaller than this. And I'm just doing this because you need to see it. So I did bigger things, okay? But normally, if it's this big, that's rocking stuff. Damburite now takes communication and gives it direction, just like quartz did, up and out, in the heart expanding, harmonizing. And a regular quartz is a direct amplifier. This is an amplifier of communication between, I will just say, divinity or divine beings that are of higher vibrational tones. I'm trying to say this as neutral as possible.
That's
Have the
great,
ability
beautiful, perfect.
to meet us where we are and communicate. And so a lot of people who bring Gamburite into their space will have a much more spiritual existence. They're open to animal communication, plants communicate. It's incredible, actually. Plant communication is like, I can't even believe it actually occurs. It took me a while to get there. And I don't mean plant medicine either, to be specific about this, okay? I'm talking about the plants are talking to each other voltammetrically. And this material gets you into the frequencies. You could hear it in skull structure and in your chest and inside of your body. You begin to tune to their tone. You know, Pleiades, yeah. So these materials are given to us freely and without any kind of condition on this earth. And yet we still have not taken a lifetime ourselves each to figure out what it was that was given to us.
So what does it mean that I just had a vision of that, what you're holding right there, made into like on a chain that I could hang and just wear right in front of my heart? Like just right in front of my heart. Like, does that make sense? Is that
absolutely? For me, there's conductive measures to have around you. I have my own. This is a skull, like an alien skull from a particular person who makes really amazing things on the planet, but it's hollow. And inside of this, I carry my own vibrational medicine of plants and Christology that helps me keep attuned. Now, we call, other elders and stuff are carrying a satch, a pouch. It's called the medicine bag, right? You've seen it all over the place. Yeah. So you don't need it to be big. You could find something that's small and doesn't have to show anybody what you're up to. And then that's also helpful.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So here's one material. And angelic communication, highest levels with that combined with apophyllite. You bring apophyllite from the zeolite family, combine it with Gamburite, and boom, you are in a conversation with exactly a system that you've been told about, but you've never really viscerally experienced here on the density of Earth unless you are opening a book or watching a video. Just not it.
Right.
Yeah.
A different realm.
Yes, a different realm. It's been, I would like to say, not hijacked, but again, hacked into reality to get rid of the reality portion of you connecting. It's like there's these nice scissors that are out here all over the place, just clipping stuff and taking away little pieces.
I love what you were saying. I think it was one of the first things you said about our own connection to imagination, or imagination as the tool, like that we've really lost touch with, and that we really need to. It's bam, boom, you hit a home run right there when you said that. We could have ended the show and been already teaching people things, right? I love it.
Yeah, so that's, the imagination's kindled through innocence. You have the gateway and the keys to every door, every puzzle, everything that you could ever conceive of the mind's perception, the imagination through the temperament of innocence, which was the child that was birthed here, who came to express what the adult was suppressing. So this thing's like naturally balancing itself out here. It's the cosmic law.
So the quiet healer says, Brian, you're making my heart smile. I have all of the crystals you're talking about, and I connect to each one of them in a special way.
Super cool.
Amazing.
Super good. Yeah, I love it. Thanks for feedback like that. Yeah. Let's move on to something that we know is an amazing thing on our planet that a lot of us have heard, but may not be exactly sure how to utilize. And I'm going to bring up cosmic orders now. And what I mean by this is that over cosmology, that's time, that's immense of eons, the Earth has received seeding on an hourly, minute-long basis every day, all day long at the two poles. Everything's coming into the atmosphere, burning up and seeding our planet. Items have come in and grown on this planet. But what we have is every once in a while, something makes it through and it has the ability to touch the Earth. We call those meteors. And they actually make it in, and they make it all the way to be able to impact to the surface. And that impact is rare. In our lifetime, you don't have a bunch of people running around like an area of a city was just wiped out because a meteor hit this, that, or the other. That's all in our movies and the script of how this place was built to keep you in fear that at any moment that's going to happen again, which of course in cosmology, it is truth. However, in your lifetime, you haven't seen it in person.
Right.
So it's kind of funny out here. What is the timelines we're being told again? So I'm going to take you on an adventure on a material called moldavite.
Ooh.
And moldavite was one of my personal all-time favorite materials that when I came around to looking at how I was a cosmic being and attuned to things much greater than terrestrial earth realms, what was it that I was attuning to and why was I drawn to these places? And so here we have material that was, well, some say 14.7. I'm always at the 16.8 whenever I touch this material. Million years ago was a meteorological impact that hit the terrestrial earth, and that material went up in the atmosphere and then was able to come back down and rain back down to the earth. And while it was doing, it was slowly cooling and then hit the earth as cooled elements, those crystals that we saw. And the beauty of it is here is that we have something that was cosmological, like a communication device called crystallology, usually metals. Okay, I'm going to make this easy. Metals amalgamized in great temperatures and stresses out in the cosmos, skip off a couple meteors, bounce off a planet or two, and make it here. And boom! When they do, they mix with our mineralogy and the cosmology of Earth itself. Now that goes up, mixes, and comes back down to earth.
Right.
And those are gems. And for me, that's like the gems of the mineral kingdom. Like how freaking rare is
That's cool. Yeah. So I want to actually, I did, you had given me earlier a list of some of the crystals that you were going to talk about and stuff. So I did some research. I grabbed some images. I just want to first acknowledge Jesse, who's out there. I think you met Jesse when you were on last time. He was over. And he's saying, very neat, the stone that tunes you into the plants. He'll have to get himself one like that. He likes the idea of that.
nice.
But I was doing some research and I found some pictures of moldavite. I thought that were really interesting because it looked there was such an organic look to it. Like besides the crystal aspect of it, there was also this very organic look to it. Is there anything you can kind of speak to about that? Is that like what you're talking about? Yeah.
Without getting technical, without doing too much blah, 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 what you're seeing is the forces of wind and the atmosphere on the crystal, which is mostly a silicate, which is glass mixed with metals and other compounds, are crystallizing together as they're solidifying, coming down back to Earth.
Wow.
So you're seeing like even that it's almost like it grabbed it and it pulls it up. I mean, that's the thing about this. It comes in many, many different shapes and forms, from dumbbells to tiger T-Rex teeth to the bar. Like I collect bars.
This one, I thought this one was really cool when I saw
and that. So that side that you're seeing is the bottom of the side that's facing towards Earth, coming towards back to descending down.
Wow.
And the pressures and whatnot on the molten glass pushed these little enclaves and shapes into it and made it what it is.
And this is, I don't know if folks can see that this is so tiny. Like this is just, you can see those are fingertips right there holding this. Right. But look at the detail on that. Like, look at all of the what's going on there. I mean, it's like,
exactly. There you go.
That's just, look at that. That's just, holy.
So remember, this is a special gift where cosmology meets terrestrial realms and then was solidified in a let's just say a billionth of a second in cosmological time. It happened in a few hours, basically, is what I'm saying to you, not over tens of millions of years.
Right.
So the data that's in these structures is so refined and finite that it just wants to give you everything as soon as you get near it or touch it or anything about moldavite. It is like it's like boom, 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 boom. And it's different and it's kind of sharp. So the energy for some when we talk about these things is it sharp? Is it soft? It's male? It's female? Let me just tell you, when you grab moldavite, it's like grabbing a freaking rocket ship at first. You get sweaty, your heart starts palpitating and racing, and the next thing you know, you're having, like, I would call it emotional enthrall of memories and other stuff is starting to come up because it's just this thing racing through your body, trying to find its place in you.
Wow.
And once you attune to it, the sweat, the race, all that force goes away and you actually embody it. So
Yeah.
moldavite was one of the first stones that I wore for probably a good 9 to 12 years before I took it off, because there was nothing left of the stone or the ring. And
Wow.
ever since, never made another yet.
It must be so awesome to be kind of at that vibrational level to feel this stuff on the intense levels that you're talking about. I mean, because I hold crystals, and I can certainly feel vibration, and I can,
Yeah.
there's a certain connection I have, but I feel like I'm living vicariously through you, the connection that you have. It's awesome. And I see Jesse Howell out there. What's up, Jesse Howell? I just want to say hello. Thanks for joining us. Jesse Howell is a great podcaster who has a show called The Missing Link. I love listening to his show, and he also loves moldavite, so
Yeah.
that's very cool.
Yeah.
He says the cosmic energy from a meteorite hitting his parents' home country of Slovakia.
Yeah.
Wow, very
All
cool.
right, man. Okay. So this is a
Nice.
good conversation. Yeah. So
Yeah, there you go.
understanding of what that material is, and there's complementary materials to work conductively with that type of communication that sometimes is intense and sharp, but we enjoy it.
Mhm.
There's another material that's available as well, and I'm going to say it leads you to a more ancient way of being and embodying that's softer and
Okay.
yet is also mindful. Okay, and that's
Okay.
one of my personal faves. Here is a good baby size head piece of Libyan.
Wow.
And so just like you were looking at the
Woo!
other ones, you can see I'll turn this slowly, and you
Look
can
at
see all over aspects. And you could see in the desert that this was buried in the Sahara sand here for years, and then this was more wind polished.
right.
And
Wow.
so this is its natural colors. And this is a great material. Again, Libyan glass, the Germans took decades to figure out how this actually occurred on our planet. And that's really important. And I need to wrap this up. Thanks for the timer. I see that thing. Oh, I love reality.
Timer? What timer?
Is it like 51 minutes we're in? Is that a countdown or a count up?
I don't see what you're looking at.
Okay, good. So
Yeah.
reality is still constructing itself. There's no time.
No, yeah, no. We could go as
Lib-
long as you want, man. I love this stuff. I love this
perfect.
stuff.
Okay. So Libyan glass is highly complementary to the celestial communication. Get this around you and get it in triplicate compared to moldavite. This
Wow.
will temper the same way rose quartz works with other quartz minerals, silicate minerals.
Mhm.
This is your glass temperer. All of the glass kingdoms, whether it's Merlin glass or anything else that came from the earth, birds from volcanoes, or this came from off planet, this is a meteorological impact coming in at a low altitude and breaking up and fragmenting and breaking again. And its force was nuclear levels.
Wow.
Okay. If you're blowing up nuclear bombs in our atmosphere, and it created an ellipsoid shaped impact ring, basically. It's called impact field.
Wow.
And so to this day, you can't just walk into that domain. It's like a war zone still to this day. And the way I get this is through basically migrators that are migrating their cattle, farmers and stuff from those regions. And they're highly tied to basically Russian, dealers and stuff like that. That are also able to run in and out of these areas.
Wow.
And Germany. So again, these areas, you can't get directly this to you, but this has been in our market everywhere. And here's the cool part. It went up in the atmosphere. When this thing hit that impact and shot our silicate back up off the earth, which is the Sahara Desert. Now this is cool. The iron and the silicate, which is the quartz of the Sahara, was fused with another set of metals. And in its process, it allowed 7 or 8 different forms of this material to crystallize before it descended and officially landed back in the desert region.
Wow.
So you can get this material with literally the Sahara sand oxidized red and black sitting straight in like strata.
Wow.
You can get this also with these little tiny balls that look like little freckles in them. And when you put a little loop and you look at them, they're quartz spheres that grew 360 degrees in every direction, crystallized.
That's cool. Wow.
So every one of these do a different function. We can't get into that. The best part is this is a softener and a temperer to cosmic sharp energies like gamma rays and other inductions that are actually beneficial to our body's biology. And get this around you. Start everyone. Honestly, even before get this around you with other.
Okay. I'm lucky my girlfriend's watching because she really loves this stuff, and she's gonna get me
To
close to
hook you
all of
up.
this stuff. Yeah, definitely. And I found a couple of pictures. I thought the glass was really cool. I thought these specimens were
Oh, that's a
pretty
nice
cool.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the Libyan. And then I found this other one, which I was
Nice. All right, that's a good one. It's pretty typical.
I just loved looking at these photos. There was such a, I don't, it's weird, Brian. When I talk to you, I feel the connection. You know what I mean? Like even looking at this
Right.
photo and talking to you, like you're like a conduit, I think, because you're so close with these, these energies, and you
Mm.
really, you it's interesting because you were talking at the beginning about being bound to language. I think that you've adopted a language, through the crystals, through the relationship that you have with the crystals. I think you've adopted the English language and the way that you communicate to really, I think you're being very successful in your mission
Thank
of
you. Yeah, I'm
what you're
bridging
trying to
as
do.
much as
Yeah.
I can. Honestly, the cosmological language and the language of the crystals is a lot more intense than this. I won't actually lie to you on any kind of measure or any form. I'm a very transparent person, and
Hmm.
my languaging is much more articulated and boop, out there than what
Right.
I'm handling right now. But that's
Yeah.
because we want to make an affirmative action here between the human condition and the crystal kingdom,
Hmm.
as this is two living beings coming together.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's like, dude,
Absolutely.
technology, when they gave you the iPhone the first day, everyone was like, if you could remember iPhone 1 or 2, whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone thought they were badass. Everyone knows everything. And all you have is this flat screen. You just got to start like a monkey poking
Right.
flat, and you're
Right.
so sure how it works. And then when you enter the dot, you're trying to figure out what's this communication? What the F is this? Is this supposed to help me? And we all went to this evolution together.
Yeah.
Basically, we're given a ton of unknowns, and humanity went after it and trusted themselves and began to learn to communicate with those tools. For me, I'm like, hey, can we put down some of those tools
Right.
and pick up more of these? And
So,
that's
so let me
like,
ask you a question. First, I want to address immense creativity. Says I have a small Libyan desert glass necklace. Does that help? And I'm imagining, of course.
yeah, the
Okay,
size
yeah.
size doesn't matter here. I've got bunches of pieces. Most pieces that I have are like about this scale that I have pretty much in my collections. But what I'm doing is I'm over decades meeting particular suppliers that bring it in, and I try to find what's the subtle differences in all of this. And that's what I'm after. Each year, I pick out 2 or 3 pieces. I go for the biggest, clearest pieces, but also to have what's called an inclusion. That means inside of it, something's included besides itself. So inclusion material, whether it be quartz or any other kind of silicate, is important because it operates just like, I'm going to say, a computer. It's
Hmm.
two things together in one piece, and it's
Hmm.
doing something different than was when they were separated.
Right.
They're fused together, and your iPhone screen has like 7 different layers of something going on inside of it.
Well.
They together with your bioluminescent and your touch, your will to create is
Hmm.
taken away from you when you touch that black mirror and you're given another set of circumstances called
Mm.
meta world to basically deal with.
Mm.
This time out on all that, going right back into
Wow. Yeah, yeah. So I, we should start wrapping it up soon. We don't definitely
yep.
have to stop short or anything like that.
One more element, one more
Okay.
key element. How about this? Okay.
Okay, yeah, no, I was getting ready to say, okay, we're gonna have another episode. The fact that you just said Black Mirror, the way you said that, oh my God, man,
Just one more.
you're giving me chills. No, no, dude, go. Give me.
Oh, I stay out of like the places that we've all been hijacked and we're in prison planet and all this stuff. I really can see the potential is that we're just not choosing the right choices that are sitting right there with us.
I love the
Then,
positive outlook on it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we have the ability to make another choice right now.
Yeah.
For everyone. So it's like, until we get around to doing that, we're in the paradigm.
Yeah.
So the last element that I'd like to bring to the table is a beautiful element that this is the world's original find. And it happened in the mid 80s, 84, 85 in Africa in a specific location. And this is called Super 7. I'm going to bring this as close as I can to the screen. This is not a polished piece. This is natural. This is out of the ground, and it's only been
Wow.
to get pressure off. And I'm going to show you a couple things that are interesting. Doop. The bottom of this right here, these are all scepters. This is another quartz that grew, and then this thing grew on it on top of this rod of quartz. Okay, so all Super 7 in the original find that no one knew what to do with, because the mineral is like on from another freaking plane of existence altogether. This is your iPhone screen in my hand in one piece, like before we made the iPhone screen. So I always laugh on this planet, like we think we're so smart, we've gone so far. Did the person who came up with the screen see this before, or this thing just they didn't even know it existed? I'm just going to go with it now. Super 7's been hidden from us, and then Melody, the same teacher that taught me some of the skill sets to attune that I did in Christology, is she found another one of this material inside the United States and brought that to the surface for people to use as a metaphysical tool. It transformed people. It just a complete game changer. What's beautiful about this material is it's made out of 7 elements together in one species called a crystal. Now these crystals are double terminated. They go in both directions, and they're scepters, the ones that I have. I have 5 of them. I don't know if that's all that was found, but what I did find, I bought all of it. And it's because what happens out here, and I did not do this, but what happens out here on Earth is people just hack at shit. And, you're like, hey, don't do that. This is not cool. But at the same time, I'm going to get you in what is cool of this is in the center of this is the amethyst, is the smoky quartz, is quartz, is double terminated, and then throw in 4 metals inside of this thing that are all layered, separated from each other, and not touching each other. And tell me that this universe called Earth herself has yet to really show us what she has to offer.
Wow. That's crazy.
For me, this is like I have a supercomputer in my hand, something that's recorded an amazing amount of data that I'm still in the process of learning how it's communicating to me.
That's amazing. And that's a piece of Super 7 also.
Super 7, yeah.
Wow.
So I'm sure there's a wrap up in all this, but here's the wrap. Take the Christology that you have and seriously put it in something that you can see. Just don't have in your hands all the time. Put it in water and get it around you, but get it
inside you.
Get it inside you, because it'll change everything about who you are in an instant if you're willing to let that occur.
Wow. And that's really the important key. And I think, even for somebody like me who I say I'm willing to let it occur, but there's still blockages, and these are things. This is what you're always growing, always learning, always trying to figure those things out. And man, again, I think just talking to you, I feel clearer. I feel like some of the comments I want to bring up here. You need your own show. Oh my God, yes. I completely agree. And I do too. So I don't know what you got planned or what you're doing, but let's talk after the show, because
that's next year's conversation. I'm basically coming out of my periphery of I waited a long time to temper myself so that the language could be received, because it's so lofty and out there that it's not possible unless you can ground it.
Sure.
So it sounds like we're grounding the conversation. It's palatable and people are ready to receive it. And that's what I've been waiting
for. That's the thing. I think you're not coming from, right now, the reputation of people who are into crystals and stuff like that is it's not understood at all. People don't understand it. And I do think that the time is right for sure, because I know for me, like I said, these conversations, they're so stimulating. I can feel the things hitting my brain and lighting up things that are already there. Like you said, it's all about feeling. It's all about really believing it and connecting to it just on that level. It's a level. It's not. How am I trying to articulate myself? It's a level of consciousness. You know what I mean? That's really what it is, and that's why it's so perfect. So I am definitely, first of all, just gonna invite you publicly while you're still on the show to come back in 2024. I hope you have time for us with whatever it is you're planning.
I will always have time for you. You definitely awesome, changed my life by me being even on this. You got to understand that I've never done this before until I did it with you. And here we are, our second time. And I just got out of my comfort zone by going with a large, not a large group, 20 something people, and becoming even more transparent.
Right.
And I think it's actually, it feels like it's authentically the time for me not to hide anymore.
It's comes through so crystal clear, and again, no pun intended. And I'm glad I can be a part of that, and again, hoping to continue to be a part of that. People are just really loving it, so and myself as well. So thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Mike.
Christmas this time of year is a real whirlwind for me, but again, you really, what, again, I'm just thinking about it, and you did exactly what you said at the beginning. You slowed everything down so that we were here together in this moment. I think everybody here in this moment was here very intentionally and intensely. So bravo, my friend, bravo. Just for the folks who are keeping score, Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Monday, and then Thursday I'm back. I did not put in for vacation. I have a cool dude named Shabugi Max coming on the show. He's Shabugi Max. He's got a really big Instagram following, and he's very, very spiritual, and he loves these kinds of conversations, which I do too. I'm excited about you bringing this more conversations about crystals to the forefront in 2024. I think it's certainly time. Everybody's saying Merry Christmas as well. Hey, so we'll see you guys.
If I could say one last closing thing, because I just started the Paradigm. I made a website. I didn't have one for my lifetime. So if anyone could, go to the website and connect to me. There's a message box in there. And what I'm doing is I'm opening up the paradigm of teaching Christology by giving you Christology, so that when we're effectively in a lesson or relating, we've got all the tools of each other's. We're equal on the same field. And that's about to happen here for next year. But if you have interest in that, please find me or touch through here, or you could directly text me or something as well. Okay.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Awesome. Man.
Thanks for a wonderful show, man. Stick around. I'll see you guys next week.